So Donald Trump, unfortunately, typed this on Truth Social. It has just come out that the Democrats in Washington and the Democrat governor's office of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, were blocking people and money from coming into North Carolina to help people in desperate need. As we're reading this, what in the would Democrats in Washington and the governor gain from trying to block aid to reach civilians? This is some 2013 Illuminati. Oh my god, triangle in a video. They must be sacrificing people. Like, this is effectively what I'm looking at here. Facebook 2013 Illuminati memes. Why? Why would the governor purposefully block aid from reaching his civilians in his own state in 2024 when you cannot hide anything? How? Let's just entertain the theory for about a few seconds. Let's just say this was true. Let's just say there was an evil cabal of Democrats in Washington and in state governments colluding to stop people from receiving aid, despite the fact that Donald Trump is the only president I know of who is verified to have tried to see if he could block aid from reaching California. Let's just say that there was a cabal or a secret organization of Democratic politicians who wanted to join Trump in aid denial. Why? We know why Trump did it. Trump did it because he felt like not enough Californians voted for him. It was a loyalty thing. Not enough Americans kissed the ring in California, therefore they must all burn. What reason would Roy Cooper have to F his own people over? I'm trying to understand that. Help me understand. He goes on to say that Biden knew about it. Joe Beasy, he knew about it, and so did Kamala. It's all over the place. A horrible situation in all caps. It took every calorie in his body to type a horrible situation in all caps. I will make it up to everyone when we take office in January. Hold on, I'm coming. Why is he acting like he's some sort of hero that we're awaiting? No one wants you back. The only person who's in a rush is you because you're afraid of going to prison. I don't even know why we're pretending with Trump anymore. Why are we doing this with him? Why? Like, the governor's already said, we've spoken to Joe Biden, we received everything we need. Now, Roy Cooper's response is this. Roy Cooper says, this is a flat out lie. We're working with all partners around the clock to get help to people. Trump's lies and conspiracy theories have hurt the morale of first responders and people who lost everything, helped scam artists and government and rescue workers in danger. Oh, helped scam artists and put government and rescue workers in danger. Bro, Donald Trump is just like, he is so divorced from the common man that we are literally just playthings to him. And January 6th is a prime example of what I mean. This man's supporters broke into the Capitol and committed felonies, crimes against the federal government. You would think that if he cared about his little peons, he would have said, hey guys, whoa, come back. Whoa. Don't ruin your lives behind the election. Let's do this the right way. No. He sits there for 3 hours and allows everything to unfold in its totality. And someone got killed, Ashley Babbitt. Brian Sicknick lost his life the day later. MAGA swears to God it had nothing to do with the traumatic and violent event he had just survived the day before, but okay. Multiple officers deleted themselves after the traumatic, violent incident. They were literally chanting, hang Mike Pence. They recorded themselves looking for Nancy Pelosi as if they were going to rip her head off. Despite all of that, Trump supporters still don't realize that Trump views them as his playthings. Because after all of that took place, after his own supporter was shot in the neck by law enforcement and bled out on camera for everyone to watch, you know what Trump decided to do again? Run for office a third time. Now, you would think humility would tell him, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Getting one of my supporters killed is crazy. Let me just fall back for a little bit, recuperate, you know what I'm saying? Figure out what I want to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn. Chill for a little bit. Relax for a little bit. This ain't really the way. I feel bad about what I did. Oh no. Trump feels absolutely zero guilt about getting Ashley Babbitt clapped. She's gone, and he doesn't care. He gives no fucks. He's back to run for office again. Trump supporters need to realize y'all are his playthings. You are his little peons. That's what you are. That's exactly why, in spite of the fact that there are people in North Carolina fighting to keep people safe, to save people's lives, etc., Trump doesn't care about those people's experiences. He doesn't care about the traumatizing events that have happened in people's lives in which they were saved by first responders. He doesn't care about that. This is the same guy and the same political party that claims to love first responders. We love our servicemen, we love our police, we love our firefighters, all of that. And yet, he doesn't mind invalidating their sacrifices just so he can score political points. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. Their political goals are so important that the actual trauma, sacrifices, and commitment put forth by first responders is not even worth anything to them. They will invalidate these people's lifelong traumas, bro. House done got blown up. People that have been injured severely, family members who have lost their lives as a result of this disaster. Trump and his people don't mind at all, invalidating those people's experiences just so they can score political points. That, to me, is insane. Insane, but we're not going to let Republicans get away with this. Hold on a second. Because we're not gonna just let this go. Mike Johnson, one of Trump's stooges, a Louisiana Republican, said on Sunday that he does not intend to call Congress out of recess to vote on emergency funding for federal agencies assisting in Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. He does not intend to call Congress out of recess to vote on emergency funding for federal agencies. So, as Donald Trump sits there and says that Joe Beasy and Kamala and Roy Cooper and the entire Democratic cabal are conspiring to stop people from receiving aid, one of his star pupils, Mike Johnson, who has the power to recommence Congress and get that aid passed, has decided that actually, we're chilling for now. We're good. We're not going back to Washington to help save the lives of those we claim to care about, despite the fact that, according to them, Trump supporters are being disproportionately targeted by hurricanes. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene claims that hurricanes are they're being spawned by the Democrats. They're claiming that these hurricanes are hurting Trump supporters disproportionately. No one else's life actually matters. It begs the question, if Trump supporters are the main victims of these hurricanes, because apparently hurricanes don't like Trump supporters, if that's the case, why wouldn't you get back into Congress to make sure your Trump-supporting, fellow citizens receive the aid that they need? Instead, Mike Johnson's like, nigga, we coolin', we good. Shit, all right, y'all stay safe out there. That's effectively what happened. This is a guy from Louisiana, who has no empathy or sympathy enough to compel him to get his ass back into Congress and bring Congress back to decide what to do about this supplementary funding for these emergencies. I don't know what to tell y'all. Johnson told Fox News Sunday's Shannon Bream that lawmakers will be back in session immediately after the election to provide any funding needs for states hit hardest by the Category 4 storm that made its way through the southeastern United States last month. Why can't y'all just get back in session now? Don't come on Twitter and make a big stink about people losing their lives. Put a political spin on it in order to compromise our unity as a nation and destroy people's faith in one another, then say, oh, well, the misinformation on Twitter and the lies meant to turn Americans against each other, that was enough. Like, actually, like, getting back in session to, like, help people, you're asking for a little bit too much. Chill out. That's 30 days from now, the Republican leader said. The thing about these hurricanes and disasters of this magnitude is it takes a while to calculate the actual damages, and the states are going to need some time to do that, as if we don't have a general idea of what the damages could look like. A handful of lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have asked Congress to return to Washington before November 5th to vote on additional aid packages for Helene victims. Florida Senator Rick Scott, a Republican, said in a statement last Monday that his state is resilient, but the response and recovery from this storm demands the full and immediate support of government at every level to get families and businesses back to normal. Oh, no, it doesn't. Not according to Mike Johnson, who reports to Donald Trump, not the American people, but Donald Trump. Not according to Trump and Johnson. Democratic Florida Representative Jared Moskowitz has also said he would support ending recess early to pass emergency funding. Congress must show that it can still deliver for the American people in their hour of greatest need, the lawmaker wrote in a statement on September 30th. The White House has asked lawmakers to pass additional funding for the Federal Emergency Management Agency and other agencies tasked with assisting communities devastated by Helene. In a letter to congressional leadership on Friday, President Joe Biden specifically requested funding for the Small Business Administration, which he said will run out of money before lawmakers return to session as it supports small business owners recovering from the storm. Biden did not explicitly call for lawmakers to return from recess early in order to meet the emergency funding needs. Johnson said on Sunday that Congress will provide and called it an appropriate role for the federal government to assist in disaster relief efforts. An appropriate role for the Do you want to do it or not? Do you want to do it or not? Like, either you want to help people or not. It's not a matter of debate. It's actually crazy how we allow Congress people to play with people's lives in this manner. You'll have bipartisan support for that, and it will happen in due time, and we'll get that job done. The only reason he feels comfortable doing this is because Donald Trump has pushed a successful narrative campaign to convince Trump supporters that the reason why aid hasn't been total, the aid hasn't been complete, is not because of the schemes and machinations of, Mike Johnson and his fellow MAGA cohorts. Oh no, that's not what it is. It's not the absolute, lack of dedication from MAGA Congress. Oh no. The real reason for why these people aren't getting the full support they deserve is because Joe Beasy and Kamala refused to press certain buttons on the Xbox controller. At some point, bro, this is actually just pathetic. Donald Trump successfully humiliates his own voters all the time. All the time, bro. All the time. I'm thinking about making a video on it. Kind of like why I left the right or whatever. Like how MAGA humiliates their voters. How MAGA humiliates their own voters. I'm thinking about making a video on that. I am, bro. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that FEMA can meet the immediate needs of Helene relief, but that the agency is being stretched thin, noting that another hurricane is expected to hit western Florida sometime next week. Biden wrote in his letter on Friday to Congress that while FEMA's disaster relief fund has the resources it requires right now to meet immediate needs, the fund does face a shortfall at the end of the year. Without additional funding, FEMA would be required to forego longer-term recovery activities in favor of meeting urgent needs, the president wrote. The Congress should provide FEMA additional resources to avoid forcing that kind of unnecessary trade-off and to give the communities we serve the certainty of knowing that help will be ongoing, both for the short and long term. So, some Republicans have blamed the Biden-Harris administration for FEMA shortfalls, claiming that the agency has diverted, aka stolen, that's what Trump accused Kamala of doing, is taking FEMA funding and blowing it on Birkin bags, claiming that the agency has diverted millions of dollars for services for migrants and the U.S. federal officials have adamantly denied such claims, noting that the funding distributed by FEMA for migrant services does not come from the agency's budget for disaster relief. Johnson said on Sunday that while the streams of funding are different under FEMA, he accused the agency of losing sight of its core mission. Yes, because the people who refuse to do their fucking jobs right now is FEMA and not Mike Johnson. Bro, these people literally run off of lack of, like, voter knowledge. If the average person knew what the fuck these people be doing, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Seriously. We wouldn't be discussing, like, bro, Mike Johnson would not be talking. But this nigga's talking reckless right now. Bro, for a nigga who proudly says we're not going back into session, he shouldn't even be talking right now. He sits there and says that FEMA has lost sight of its core mission. This type of language really should have people screaming at him and pulling up on him. But instead, he can say this stuff comfortably and he knows no one's ever going to get upset. What the American people see and what they're frustrated by is that FEMA should be involved, the House Speaker says, as you refuse to give them the supplementary funds that they need to, like, prolong their mission. Their mission is to help people in times like this of natural disaster, not to be engaged in using any pool of funding from any account for resettling illegal aliens who have come across the border. This is what we're dealing with, bro. We're dealing with people who have no shame, no class, no respect. Mike Johnson is a bum. Seriously. He even has an NPC name. Mike Johnson. I'm tired of this, bro. Like, I'm absolutely tired of Republicans doing this. Like, oh my God, bro. Like, there has to be some way to combat this. Like, we need to start, like, making memes or some shit. Like, this is, at this point, they're just dunking on us. They're literally scoring, like, layups on us by just lying about easily disprovable shit. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates told Newsweek via email on Sunday that a wide range of leaders in both parties and from every affected state have praised the bipartisan response to Hurricane Helene. Republican governors from several hard-hit states have thanked the federal government's response to Helene, including South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, who said at a press conference last Tuesday that federal assistance had been superb. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin also said at a press conference last week that he is incredibly appreciative of the rapid response and the cooperation from the federal team at FEMA. He also thanked Joe Beasy and Democratic Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine for their support and continued coordination to provide assistance to Virginians in need in a statement last Sunday. Prior to heading to recess, Congress passed $20 billion for FEMA's disaster relief funding as part of a stopgap measure intended to fund the federal government until December. The agency, however, had requested a need for $33.1 billion in the new fiscal year, which began on October 1st. The stopgap measure was passed in the White House with a 341 to 82 vote and in the Senate with a 78 to 18 vote. All no votes came from Let's reread this. The stopgap measure was passed in the House with a 341 to 82 vote and in the Senate with a 78 to 18 vote. All no votes came from Republican members in both chambers. Bro, at this point, if a Republican ever tells me they care about the American people, bro, I'm literally just... I'm gonna lose all faith in this country, bro. Real talk. Like, I'm gonna lose all faith. These niggas, like, bro, they every time. It's like, what do y'all, like, what do these niggas know that we don't know? What do they know when, like, when these things happen, what do they know that we don't know? Why don't they just say something? We know what the answer is. We know what the answer is. The answer is these people don't care. And they'll never be held accountable by their voters because they effectively and proactively manipulate them every single day. I mean, their voters literally believed Biden was dead for 2 days, and we all just forgot about that and acted like it didn't happen. Crazy. Debates over hurricane relief efforts. Okay, we've read enough. We know what happened here.